Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello, welcome. My name is Megan and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to my basement home gym and take you guys through a dumbbell only leg day workout. This is going to be the fun new setup for all things fitness on my channel. So I am super stoked about this, and I know a lot of you guys over on Instagram as well as on here have been asking for at-home workouts and things that you guys can do with body weight, with home equipment. So I'm going to try to mainly do dumbbell only things for you guys in this workout. We're going to be doing a sumo squat today, so loading down below with a wider stance. The second exercise we're going to do is a dumbbell RDL using 2 legs here and 2 dumbbells on our side. The third exercise that we are going to do is a glute bridge, so we're going to be on the ground and driving hips up. Then we're going to go into a glute bias step up. So this will require a step. Usually you guys have something at home that you can step on. If you don't, then I'll show you guys how to just do a lunge by itself. And then the last exercise that we are going to do is going to be a lateral lunge, so lunging into the side. Yeah, I'm excited to walk you guys through them all. So I'll do an exercise demo and then the actual videos after that. So let's just go ahead and prep for our first exercise, which is our sumo squat. Alrighty, I'm going to be walking you guys through the sumo squat right now. So biggest difference between this and a goblet squat is that sumo squat is going to be loaded down below between the legs with a wider stance. We have our dumbbell here. You guys can hold the dumbbell however you want. For me, I find it easiest to hold with 2 hands like this. So gripping with 1 hand in the front, 1 hand in the back, hooking in, and then we're just going to lift that up here. Then we're going to have a wide stance here, feet wider than shoulder width apart, and I like to have my toes externally rotated out a little bit here. Then all that we're going to be doing is keeping our feet down, really thinking of driving through our heels though. We're going to squat down and then come back up here. So that's the whole movement. Biggest thing with this movement is that you want to keep it nice and controlled. You want to keep holding the dumbbell below, thinking of keeping your core nice and braced as you're squatting down. What you want to notice is that with this, you're going to have way more of a forward lean. So I'm leaned a lot more forward, hips still come down and back, and I'm back up. So for this movement, it's more of a forward lean that's adding more stretch to the glute, and thinking of keeping core nice and braced, back nice and neutral. So I don't want you to be bending your spine like this or be overextending your spine like this. Thinking of keeping nice flat back as if someone was punching you in the stomach as we come down and back up. Now that we have the form down, we are going to be performing this for 4 sets of 10 reps. Alrighty, exercise number 2 is going to be our RDLs. I will say these are probably the trickiest exercise to get the form down on, so I actually like when people do them with dumbbells. However, before you even load it up with the dumbbell, let's make sure that you guys understand the mechanics and the hip hinge. The biggest piece of advice I have for RDLs is think of it more as a front to back movement, so hips come back and forward, as opposed to an up and down movement, because a lot of the times I'll see it performed with the knees bending and you're almost squatting and just bending down. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Think about if I'm holding a whole bunch of groceries in my hand, but the car door is still open and I have to slam it shut with my butt, what would I do? I would just poke my butt back to close it and then come back up. So that's the movement pattern. Same idea, thinking if someone was pulling your hips backwards, but your feet were stuck in concrete, how would your hips go back? I also like to have people practice it, taking their hands, hopping it on their thighs. First think of, if you have this natural arch in your back, take it away. Think about, okay, if someone punched me in the stomach, let me twist my hips back, brace my core. Keep this positioning, take your hands down on the quads, and then we're just gonna slowly shave our legs, coming down right below the knee, and then right back up. This is a hip hinge. This is how we hinge our hips. And if you struggle with getting that, you can do it up against a wall, and you can do it so that you have to wait until your butt touches the wall and then come back up. That helps you to master the hinge. So now we're going to put it all together, holding dumbbells. Start with lightweight and then work your way up as you feel like you really have the movement pattern down. We're going to be doing 4 sets of 8 of these today. So picking up our dumbbells, Keeping them at our side, feet are going to be shoulder width apart. Think of tilting that pelvis in, bracing that core. Then think of shaving your legs with the weights as they come down. Hips are going to be sent back first. The movement stops right when your hips can't go any further back. So we're here, coming down. My hips stop here, so I come back up. That's one rep. Hip stop here, coming back up. Is going to be a step up. I have this fun little aerobic step here. If you don't have like a step box like this, it's totally fine. You can use a stair, you can use like the end of a treadmill, you can get creative, or you can just do a lunge. So I'll show you guys that first. If you don't have a step, totally fine. All you're going to do is stay on the ground, bring one foot back into a split squat, hold the weight on this side here, and we're just lunging down, coming back up, lunging down, coming back up. Or you can be here, lunging back if you have good balance, coming back up. I'm going to show you guys the form without a weight first. So here I have a step that's actually not too high. And instead of thinking of this as a step up, almost think of it as a single leg step down where you don't actually put your weight through the back leg. So we're going to be up here. I like to hold onto the wall or a pole for added support. There's no shame in that. If you aren't stable, if you're just going like this, you're not getting the most out of the movement because you're not actually contracting those muscles, you're just trying to stay afloat. So, use your hand on a wall or a pole, gain that stability. One foot's gonna be on the box. You're gonna keep full contact with that foot, but really thinking of driving through that heel. This leg is gonna be coming and lunging back. Think about if you were going back to touch something behind you and come back up. All you're doing is tapping that toe to the floor. So, think of that hip hinge, karate chop at the hip first. Send that leg back, touch, coming back up if you have the weight. Hip hinge, send that leg back, coming up. You're gonna feel that stretch way more through the glute than if you're just here and doing this. This is fine, but it's not going to maximize the stretch on the glute as well as slowing down the movement to really get the most out of it. So, we're going to do step ups. I like for you guys to really focus on mind to muscle engagement, balance. So I say do 6 to 8 reps, no more than that because then it just gets sloppy. If you have great balance, you can hold 2 weights. If you don't, like myself, fine, I'll hold the wall in 1 weight. We're going to go for 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps on each side. Exercise is going to be another single leg movement. Now we're going to be moving laterally, meaning side to side, working on some lateral lunges. Everything on a glute focused day when we're lunging or hinging, think of that hip hinge. So always think hips back first, then we do the movement. What that's going to do is if we're in this position, as our hips come back, torso leans forward, we're getting increased stretch on the glute fibers as we come down, rather than if we're just here, the range of motion is really minimal, and we're going to keep most of the work through the quad. This exercise is also going to target some adductors, so inner thigh, which is great because that's kind of a neglected muscle group that we have. So, for lateral lunges, I want you guys to think about having a nice and wide stance. First part is you're going to hinge hip back, so thinking of karate chop at the hip, hip comes back first, then we're sitting into the lunge, coming back up. Sitting into the lunge, coming back up. When you come back up, thinking about pressing through the heel of that foot. So we're here, hinging back, sitting into it. Now I press through my heel and I drive back up. You're going to feel that through glute medius. For holding the weight, I prefer to hold it down below, but you can also hold it up at chest as well and just cup it underneath. I like down below because it keeps me in that hinged state. So hinging back, coming down, coming back up, coming down, coming back up. For this, we're gonna do 3 sets of 8 on each side. Exercise, we're going to be doing a glute bridge. This is a more widely known exercise. A lot of people have done it. So I'm just going to breeze through form to make sure that you're doing it properly for your core and for maximal glute engagement. So here, first thing that I want you guys to do is just lay flat on the ground. Biggest thing you want to do is if I can put my hand under your back, that means that you're not engaging your core. So thinking about closing the gap between your back and the floor, think of if I punch you in the stomach from above, and think about twisting those hips to close that gap. So now that that gap is closed, keep that core braced, hands come to the side if you're not using any weight, feet are shoulder width apart, toes externally rotated a little bit here. We're driving up through heels, coming to full hip extension at the top, meaning locking out the hips, making a nice flat line, and then we're coming back down nice and controlled here. That's 1 rep, and we're coming back up, coming back down. If throughout any point you lose that tension through the core, that's normal, that's okay. So if I come up and I lose it and I notice there's a gap here, just take that second, breathe, initiate that pelvic tilt, and then come back up, just to make sure that you're keeping and protecting the low back. When you're ready to do it with weight, you're just gonna pop that weight up on the hip like this. Then same positioning. I like to hold the weight so that it doesn't roll on my face. So I'm here holding it away from me, driving hips up, coming back down. Driving hips up, coming back down. On the last rep of the set, I just want you guys to hold it at the top for as long as you can. You might get the shakes, and then coming back down. That's going to be 1 set. We are going to be doing 4 sets of 12 here. That is going to be it for today's workout. I really hope you guys like this video. Let me know if you like this format and this fashion. If you guys have any requests for exercise tutorials or just workouts and things that you want to see, and I'll be sure to try to do this more for you guys. I love making personalized programs. That's kind of my bread and butter right now. So if you guys want to reach out regarding that, please let me know, and I have that information down below. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I post most of my gym workouts. If you're more of a gym girly, that's where a lot of my workouts have been going for the gym, but I will try to get gym content back up on here as well. Love you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe, comment if you guys have any questions at all, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.